welcome to the webinar this morning. For those of you who are now interested in launching your brand into the UK market, we'll go through, hopefully give you some good ideas on where to get started here. It's a really big market with big potential. So maybe you're already selling in the UK or you're thinking about it. Hopefully today we can answer some of your burning questions. But today's agenda, we will be going through, is this going to be your next international market? We'll go through some UK consumer behaviour and what to consider, some tips on increasing your brand awareness, boosting your conversions, and of course, going through those all-important handling returns and also customer service expectations in the UK, which is very important. First of all, a bit about what we do. So here at Make Sure Local, I am the head of customer success and the localization expert for the UK. Make Sure Local basically brings two things to the table. We have the tech and the tools. We have our native teams for every country that we operate in. So these consist of e-commerce specialists, natives who are in charge of translations and customer service and back office tasks for our clients. This means we've got a really good understanding of e-commerce in each of these markets. And we also have the tech, which is needed to succeed. So this means that our clients don't have to have their own. We have our AI-supported tools to help with translations and reduce cost, automated customer service solutions, a great way to launch fast in a new market and also at a really low cost. So basically, our clients can launch and operate a shop in the UK and all other markets without having to hire their own team to manage those markets. So we've been around for over 14 years now, managing over 250 different web shops. So some are really big like Sephora, and we also have small brands as well, even if it's a two-man band. Most of our clients are in the same situation when they launch into a new market. So they have the same potential customers where they need to meet their customers' expectations. So we help them no matter how big or small you are in your home market. We also cover most of Europe as well, either by external or freelance help, but mostly we have our native teams in our offices as well. So a little bit about Make Sure Local. And now we're going to go through and just talk a bit about understanding the UK. So we have this little fact sheet here, which I'm not going to run through everything. There's lots of information, but just some of the top things to take into consideration here is the huge population. So nearly 70 million people are living in the UK, and 89% of those shopping are shopping online. Just to put it into context with Germany, Germany has a larger population of 83 million, and they're valued at 102 billion euros in e-commerce sales, whereas the UK is up there at 120 billion euros of sales. That's the third largest e-commerce market in the world after USA and China. So huge potential there. With the average person spending just under 200 euros a month online, and of course, fashion being the top thing that everyone's shopping for as well. Just some consumer behavior here. I've narrowed it down to the top 3 things that's important for to consider when selling into the UK, and the top one being price. So the UK consumers will do research before purchasing, and their main focus with this research is to compare prices and find those promotional offers. 82% use price comparison tools to find the best deals. So this is definitely, you know, the fact that the internet is so vast for the UK, there's so much choice there. Finding the right deal and the right price is a big one for the UK consumers. The next one I would say is that they're very big on reviews. They avoid buying from any business that's below a 4-star rating. So 93% of the UK shoppers read online reviews before making a purchase. So it's really important here to have those high standards to boost your ratings. Getting the high star ratings, they indicate trust and reliability and ensures that the customers want to buy from you. And then finally, I would say here, the clear product and return information, really important again for the UK market. They expect clear product details on your website. They really value transparency. So they're looking for those product videos, the FAQs, really comprehensive descriptions. And that also goes with their return information. They want it to be nice and clear before checkout, how much it will cost, and how long it will take to be delivered. So being really clear there is a win. What not to do. So these are the top things from my experience. When foreign web shops try to enter into the UK market, they face a lot of challenges that could also affect their success. Top one here is a lack of localization. So changing your language and terminology, using American English terms like cart instead of basket, or zip code instead of postcode, they can really create a disconnect with the UK consumers. Localizing the language, making them feel more tailor-made and trustworthy for the UK customers, really important. Also, updating your currency payment options. So critical, make sure you're using the British pound, make sure you're using popular UK payment methods, with PayPal being the top one here. Over 80% of the customers will still be using PayPal when they're shopping online. So small things which will have a big impact on the UK consumers. I find with the people in the UK, they're really impatient shoppers. So they really like the convenience and the ease of shopping online. So make sure you're getting that right. Unclear return policies. So we just mentioned that before. But yeah, just having it really clear, really straightforward. And then they'll definitely trust you and make a purchase. I would also add here that if you have, a lack of local return addresses also is something that people make the mistake here. Because if you're having an international location for a return address, it can put off consumers buying your products because of the shipping costs or longer waiting times for refunds. So just also something to consider. But with that, just be really, really clear. Make sure it's communicated really well, and then they are under no false pretenses when they're sending back their returns. I would say then here, neglecting customer reviews and social proof. So not listening to customers and maintaining that positive customer service, positive reviews is just really important. Some companies, they don't engage with their local influencers. So if they feel like they've neglected their social media marketing, this is obviously up on the rise, particularly with the younger demographics. But yeah, making sure that you're keeping up to date with your socials. If not, it can lead to a lack of visibility and credibility. So the UK consumers are definitely influenced a lot by their social trends. And then, of course, poor customer service. News travels very fast with our, most like all countries in Europe, but definitely in the UK, if it's good news, they'll tell their friends. And if it's bad news, they'll tell their friends. So keeping that really good customer service. They expect high standards of customer service in the UK, making sure that you're accessible via all forms of channels, phone, email, live chat. Really important here, foreign web shops make the mistake of not being open during the UK business hours. So make sure you're on their time zone, and making sure that you're not, if you're not, you might seem a little bit out of touch, and also it can frustrate the customers a lot. So they're definitely the top things to consider there. We're going to now go into talking a little bit about selecting the right market, and is the UK the right market for you? Maybe you're doing really well now in your current market, wherever you may be. What's the next one? Are you going to choose the next biggest market? Are you going to choose the one that's perhaps the most similar to you because you know you're doing well? Are you going to choose the one that's just the closest one to where you're based? In my opinion, and from our experience, anywhere now, the best place to start is where you already have some brand recognition. It's really, really expensive to build this, particularly from scratch. So yeah, use this as your advantage. Are you already recognized in another country? You'll be going in with lots of competition, especially in the UK. It's hard, it's expensive. So think about what you're selling here. If you're selling sportswear, who are your competitors in that new market? It's always a good place to start if you already have some brand recognition, just to go off. Unless you're thinking more of a long-term plan to succeed in that market. For short-term, somewhere with some recognition is a plus. And then talking a little bit about your products. Is your product even relevant in this market? Are you selling ski gear and you want to go into the UK, perhaps you need to rethink if this product is going to be, if this is a good investment for you to take it somewhere where there's no mountains. Will the country require an extra warehouse? So this is also something for the UK in particular. Are you going to have that local-based warehouse, local returns address? Do you need to think about the cost of having one? And also, of course, the competition. So this is kind of where we really focus and help our clients when they launch into a new market, is going in with a market entry report. This is where we take your products, we have a look how they're sold in that new market. Are they popular? We're going to look at the competition, the price point of these similar products. We'll do a big research and deep dive into that new market and give you some great insights before you launch your own brand, and also before you spend all of your money getting it into that new market. So yeah, it's definitely a really good place to start before you launch. And then I would say do the maths. Really great calculation to do is your income per order. So what's your average order, and then what is left? Do this for your own market, and then do it for the new ones you want to potentially launch into, and compare it with those. All these costs here I've got in the presentation, they're triggered by customers placing an order. So if you take your average order, then go through all this list, are there shipping fees? Are there packing materials, payment fees, warehouse costs, perhaps return handling? If you are going into the UK, you need to consider that it might be a lot more expensive for this return handling due to more people returning. I will talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, have a breakdown, have a really good idea on your costs here. If you're making 20 euros per order in your own market, but only 10 euros per order in a new market, maybe you should think about where you're spending that money. Should you then just focus more on your current market, putting it into marketing and growing there? Definitely top things to consider. Are you going to have an alternative way of selling, perhaps on a marketplace? You'll also have a different income per order for working out your costs for selling on Amazon as well. So definitely do the math, be smart before you dive into the UK, which is such a huge market. Okay, now a little bit on building brand awareness, which is very important. But the UK is expensive and it's very competitive. So it's a difficult market to crack, but but it's amazing if you do it. So you'll be competing against a lot of similar companies as well. So a strong brand presence can help you gain that credibility that you need in order to succeed. So also essential to invest in targeted marketing and PR efforts when you're going into the UK. Adapt the brand message and look at the competitors and their strengths. This also is where a market entry report would be great, because we go into benchmarking, we look at competitors, we see what they're doing, how you fit into the mold, and how you can set yourself apart. Keeping those cultural differences in mind as well. So making sure you're not just using your generic global marketing messages, make sure you're adapting it, make it feel more personal and relevant to the UK consumers. They definitely appreciate marketing that resonates with their culture, the values, holidays, and also the big trends of the UK as well. So make sure you are adapting, change your brand message if you need to, make sure it fits into that market. And then I would also say your influencer marketing as well is a big one. It's a really powerful tool. Use influencers that match your brand values. So make sure that you're reaching your target audience. Do you need to create new social accounts for the market? Are you currently communicating with your customers, in your own language? Do you now need to create a new one that just is targeted to the UK market? Things like this that will really gain a lot of brand awareness for particularly a new brand. The UK is highly digitalized at the moment, so you want to really utilize those digital channels. For example, obviously on your socials, but also on your SEO as well. And now we're going to talk about the cultural nuances in the UK. You probably think everyone's just drinking tea and calling their grandmother from the phone box, but it's actually a really huge, diverse country with a lot of culturally diverse people from north to south. It's actually made up of 4 countries within one. So England being the biggest one with 84% of the population. That's going to mostly be where your target audience is. But even just within England, we have huge culturally diverse people, major different from the northerners to the southerners. We have Scotland, which is 8% of the population of the UK. They definitely have a sense of national pride. They prefer to shop from locals and buy from them. Welsh and the Welsh people, 5% of the population, they are definitely committed to their heritage. 30% of the country still speak Welsh as their first language. And then we have Northern Ireland, which is not even connected to the mainland. Can you distribute to the Northern Irish? Can you send your products there too? All these things to consider. But yeah, so different. What thrives in Manchester can be completely different to the people in Cardiff. And same goes with the Londoners and the Glaswegians. They're completely different. So really finding where your market is and knowing just how vast the cultures are across the UK as well. Of course, big shopping days, Black Friday, Valentine's Day. Of course, they're huge events, huge holiday dates for the UK, but also considering Mother's Day, it's different to every country in Europe. Are you going to do something special for St. Patrick's Day? Are you going to celebrate with the rest of the nation? Lots of things to consider. We have an annual marketing wheel here, so you can see a little bit more about the different holidays and trends in the UK as well. But yeah, very, very vast country and lots of differences there. But now I'm going to talk a bit about why they should choose you instead of a local competitor. So it's really important here to show the consumers what's different about your brand and why they should choose you. Because right now they already have the brands, perhaps they already have the products they need. You know, why would they go away from those brands and choose you? What will set you apart? How are you unique? These are just big questions to ask yourself. How are you unique? And what is your advantage to make you stand out from the crowd? It shouldn't really be too difficult because you should still stay true to who you are and who you are as a brand. But what is your unique selling point? Is it the fact you have price guarantee? Do you have a great returns policy that people can trust? Is your customer support 5-star? Things like this that will really help you gain new customers. Trust, really important. We did speak a bit about how they value reviews. So are you trusted? Are you a transparent brand? And do you stay true to your policies? So this is, again, important to stand out and gain that positive awareness. And price. So this is maybe the obvious reason why people would choose you, but it's also good to mention you don't have to be the cheapest. Your unique selling points and your quality can also reflect on your price. So just always remember that you don't have to just be the cheapest in order to succeed. We'll talk now on some marketplaces. I find that this is very big for the UK. And for some companies, they find it unavoidable to not be on a marketplace. They account for over 60% of online sales all coming from a marketplace. So are you in a marketplace at the moment in your own country? Is this something you would consider? Of course, it does require extra costs, but this is a great place to get started to increase your brand awareness. So something to think about. The top ones being Amazon. Of course, it's the biggest one, but nearly 370 million visits per month in the UK are on Amazon. They also have, they've set the bar very high in terms of customer service, their returns and delivery, next day delivery, easy returns that are free. So they are definitely setting the bar for all kind of customer expectations. We also have eBay. That's also a big one. Nearly 230 million people visiting it every month. And then Etsy is the top one for kind of arts and crafts and like kind of home gifts. But yeah, three big marketplaces. Oh, I have a question here. How popular is TikTok Shop? Very. Definitely the whole social media evolution and shopping on social media is very big. the UK consumers really like to find new products and new brands on social media, and the fact that they can just click and pay directly from TikTok or Instagram or whatever social media platform is really, really popular and increasing a lot. So as I kind of mentioned before, getting those socials up to date, make sure you're directly targeting the UK customers, and they will really go for it, because much like a lot of the countries in Europe, I would definitely say it's very, very big. Cool. I have to touch on here, I know people don't really want to go too much into Temu, but I have to mention it because of its huge notable launch in the UK last year. So it actually only launched last April 2023, and in the first year they had 20 million subscribers. Pretty hard to compete with the price. So this is obviously why so many people will buy from Temu. They're happy to wait longer because they know they're getting the best value for money from the products they're buying on Temu. So I guess in this case, you know, just stressing to other retailers that focus on your quality and the quality aspects of your products. That will set you apart from Temu, because yeah, it's obviously on the rise as well. Yeah, that's just a big player when it comes to marketplaces. But 1/3 of UK consumers said they prefer to buy products from different sellers on the same marketplace. So this is just emphasizing consumer loyalty and also the convenience of shopping on a marketplace. So something to consider. Okay, boosting your conversion rates. It has never been easier. For most people. But basically, we know from our experience, the biggest impact here on conversion is localization. And we know this is where it makes the biggest difference on your conversions. But it has never been easier. People know a lot now. People can speak and read and write in English. If not, AI can. So everyone's doing it. Customers will now start to ask, are you for real? Everyone's doing it. So how can you show that you care? What will make you stand out? Being transparent, telling them where you're from, who owns the company, what are your trust marks, make sure everything is nice and clear, gain that trust and be really transparent with the UK consumers. Are you accessible? Is it easy to get in touch with you? Can they speak to you directly? Can they speak to you, you know, all throughout the day on various channels? Make sure that you are accessible to all your customers. They'll gain massive trust and help boost your conversion rates in that sense. Do you have your live chat? You know, when they call, are they going to get through to customer service? Very big things to make sure that you're getting it right from the beginning. And the magic 5, the magic 5%. This is really what we're going to set you apart. This is your native teams, the 5%. This is the native teams that will take your web shop and up to the next level to make sure you're getting those conversion rates. They'll look through the sites. They'll make sure there's no small mistakes. These small errors get your conversion rate up to what you have in your home market. So having that native specialist, someone who's local, really making sure that everything is aligned with that audience, and that will really increase your conversion rates. And also it'll make you stand out. It'll be that extra something that you're spending the time on to make sure that you're beating it from, you know, winning over your competitors. So here, make sure you're using all the technology you have access to, so you're cost efficient. Meet them in their language. Just like I said, you know, get those natives on the same page as your consumers, and also meet their expectations. Don't go in there with brand new delivery and payment options. That's not what they want to see. They want to know exactly how to shop online. They want to do it consistent with all the shops they use when they're browsing. So make sure you're meeting their expectations and kind of gaining their trust in that way. And same goes for returns as well. So yeah, the magic 5%, that's definitely going to help your conversions. Okay, now going on to the complexity of returns. And I know we get a lot of questions about this. This is a big thing. First of all, how do you start? What's the best thing to do, considering that the UK is now no longer part of the EU? But a clear and efficient returns policy is crucial for the e-commerce business in the UK. So yeah, really, really essential. I'm going to start with just mentioning Brexit, touching on it, because since it happened, new custom rules and regulations have been put in force. So these have caused big delays and disruptions, additional costs for cross-border e-commerce shipments between the UK and the EU, also making longer waiting times for your parcels, unexpected fees, damaged goods, also missing goods as well in customs. So yeah, been a bit of a pain for people who are selling into the UK. And in saying that, the expectations of returns are quite high. So majority of the UK consumers expect a free and hassle-free return policy. So yeah, a well-defined return policy can boost conversion rates and encourage purchases. So we're also a nation of serial returners. Over 70% of online shoppers are returning items online at various frequencies. They're just used to it. They have this expectation where they can order what they want, try it on at home, and then just return it. Buy, try, return. Really, really fast ordering and return policies in the UK. So that's kind of what you're up against here in terms of their expectation. Of course, marketplaces don't help when you have Amazon, who has this expectation where this policy where in some cases you can order in the morning and you can get your item by the afternoon. So yeah, definitely a bit of something to think about for the UK. So maybe the major thing here is to, first of all, avoid having those returns in the first place, making sure you have really good product details on your website. Avoid people having to buy it to see it with their own eyes so that before returning it. Make sure you have, really good size guides, size comparisons. Make sure your live chat is good to go so people can chat to you before they make that purchase. I mentioned before this impatient online shopping that the UK consumers have. Everything needs to be fast and convenient. So make sure you have that live chat. Make sure you have also your pictures and your videos, show as much of your product as possible so that they are buying exactly what they need and you're avoiding all of these returns. So do it as much as you can. I've also got here, it's better for the world. Unfortunately, although sustainability is on the rise, like most countries all throughout Europe, the fact that it's not as highly prioritized for the UK, it doesn't really affect them too much. They would rather buy it, get all the stuff and return if they don't want. So yeah, making sure you have a lot of information on your website, really, really important. Do you have an efficient return process? Make sure it's simple. Make sure it's clear guidance in the package and on your website and also through your chatbot. They don't need to, have to go through all these forms and small print. Make it really easy for them. So it just makes it really nice to go through the checkout and know exactly how much you would have to pay for returns, how long it would take to get your refund. Very small things like this, but being very clear, very transparent on your website is really important to make sure that they're actually going ahead and making that purchase. Of course, be careful with your costs. For your costs might increase a lot for returns in the UK, just for the fact that more people are returning. So keep that in mind. I've got some best practices right now for managing them in the UK. Make sure you've got the well-known return process, also not, creating something that's no one's done before. Keep with the UK expectations of returns. Make it nice and clear, make it a visible policy, and keep it simple. A lot of people now are going paperless. You'll find nowadays not everyone has printers. It's not really a common thing. Go paperless, do the QR code where they can easily scan it on their phone and drop it off at the nearest post office. Anything that makes it convenient and easy means that they'll trust you and they're more likely to make the purchase. Prepaid labels are also a great idea for this as well. Having a UK return address, and also important, where is this return address in the country as well? How fast can they send back their returns? This might be more cost effective for you because you can get everyone to send it back to one UK return address and then just bulk send it back to your main warehouse once you've collected some returns. could be a way. They'll also trust you more because they can see it's a UK address, and it means that they'll get their refund quicker. Things like this to consider. Are you going to have a holding warehouse? Maybe not at the beginning, maybe not when you're first launching into the UK, but can you see yourself selling a lot more, having a holding warehouse, being able to distribute your goods around the UK nice and easy? Where will this be based? Will it be in the East Midlands, where you have large holding warehouses because you have really good access to main motorways throughout the UK, so it's really good for distribution. A little bit more expensive if that's where your warehouse is. So really got to think about being smart here with your money, and also being able to live up to your policy of faster delivery and returns. And of course, choosing the preferred courier. So loads of couriers you can choose from. It's actually meant to say low cost here. So if you want to go more low cost, you can have Every or DPD. They have over 7,000 drop-off zones throughout the UK each. These are mostly in like convenience stores or petrol stations, or you can go with the preferred and most trusted courier, which is Royal Mail. So with Royal Mail, they have nearly 12,000 post offices across the UK. So that makes it very convenient for people to just go and drop their package off and place a return. So definitely some things to think about. And then finally, we're now going to go into our last part of the day, and that is our customer service expectations in the UK. 67% prefer local representatives to handle customer service, ones who understand the local context and use British English. They also expect a very fast response time within 24 hours. And their strong preference for the local customer service and the quick response times is actually a little bit higher than most EU countries. So again, just stressing that it's the fast pace, it's the I want the answers now, it's the kind of really almost impatient online shopping behavior that we have in the UK. And it's important that Brits feel valued and they want to be aligned with your brand's values and also get that value for money. So I feel like if you strike a balance between these areas while also taking into account British culture and the language, you'll definitely be ready for success in the UK. But with this and all this information this morning, this is just really scraping the top of what you should consider and what you really should look into and kind of do your research before going into the UK, because it is a tough one to crack, but I feel like when you're in, you know, it speaks for itself. The economy is doing good, and it's a big potential. So with this information, we can definitely dive deeper. We can look more into your products, market entry report into the UK, see if this is the next potential market for you, and then set up a plan to get started and see if it works. But if you do have any more questions about the UK, then please feel free, get in touch, send me an email. We can book a meeting and we can go through anything additional on the UK market. And then for now, if anyone's sent through any extra questions, I'll follow that up with an email and I'll send you this presentation as well. But for now, that's it from me. Have a really lovely day, and I'll speak to you again.